Hey guys, welcome back to a new episode of Dream Catch Hustle with
Nadirah
and Fila.
So on today's episode of Technically Speaking,
I need this one.
We have an IT guru.
Yes, we do. We have an amazing guest with us, the co-owner of Team Logic IT, Chen, who's a Black woman in tech.
Yes.
That impresses me already. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Sue, and about Team Logic IT?
Okay, well, my name is Sue. With Team Logic IT, I'm one of the co-owners of Team Logic IT. I handle the back end of the office, meaning when Verlin comes on, he's my partner. When Verlin comes on, he starts talking too technical to clients. I
You
kind
break
of
it
have
down?
to break it down a little bit more and stuff like that. So we do anything or everything from small to large companies, handling information technology, managed services, and everything else.
I think that's so amazing.
It really is. And for those that don't know, I met Sue at my final hour. My telephone company was doing me so dirty.
I remember that story.
Yes. When we switched locations, and I was almost in tears, and I just Googled Black-owned technology companies because that's where I wanted to start off at.
Wow.
And Team Logic was the first ones to come up, and Sue answered the phone. I think she heard the despair in my voice because she was so nice. She was like, "Listen, don't know me from anywhere." She was like, "Just calm down, and we're going to help you. We're going to help you." And from right then and there, I knew not only did I have a new technology company, but I also had a friend. And we just hit it off and took it from there. And since IT is my background, I knew that they weren't clowning me either.
She knew her stuff.
She's
she
the
was
real
asking
deal.
questions. I was like, wait a minute, okay.
Yeah. That must be that nurturer in Sue also.
Yes. So I knew that I was in good hands. So what I want to ask you is, how did you get started in IT? Because IT is not women-based at all. There's a very few women in IT. Me personally, I couldn't handle it, so I got out of it. So how did you get started in IT?
That's a whole story. So we'll just
Take us through it.
So with that being said, I started out as a local 3 electrician. So back in '94, I went into the union. With the male chauvinist
94.
pick.
You only look 22,
I'm
girl.
trying. I'm 21. So male chauvinist picks, you know what I mean, with the union, excuse me to all my men out there. But went into the union, so started doing that, pulling pipe and everything else.
Wow.
So back then, where I always say I come full circle is because back then I was pulling pipe, doing punch down, as you know, and things of that nature. And now I'm back doing that same thing again. So I went from local 3, and then I started having kids, as all of us do as moms and stuff. And
How many children do you have?
I have 6.
6
you
kids
have
in
I'm
IT.
trying to hold it.
She looks
Yeah,
amazing.
trying to hold it tight. Thank you for that. So with that being said, when you have kids, you try to find, what to do, because again, this industry, just like America, is not built for women, especially when you have kids.
Talk about it.
And if you're working in a male-dominated field, they don't understand how come you're not at work.
Yeah.
How come you're taking time off, and why can't you work while you're pregnant? But if you're doing construction, you really can't work while you're pregnant, in a sense, So with that being said, I always, have other things in my head. So back then I went to cosmetology school while I was pregnant. While I was
While you were pregnant?
Yeah, while I was on maternity leave. I was like, okay, I'm bored. So I went to cosmetology school and did that. And then once I did that, had the kids and went back to work. And then I branched off and started doing interior design. So in interior design, I dabbled in that. And my mother was selling her house. So I was like, back then it was like, oh, you watch TV shows, so we're gonna stage it. So, I went and staged the house, and then it sold at open house. So I was like, again, how my mind works, it's like something's wrong with this picture. The lady sold it at open house, and she didn't do anything. So back then I said, let me get my broker's license, my real estate license. And back then, you could get your broker's license in a year.
Right.
So then I got my broker's license. I was like, okay, we're doing this now. So we're doing the interior design, and we're doing the real estate.
Okay, so you went from being an electrician to becoming a mom to going into interior design to staging to becoming a broker.
And don't forget the cosmetology.
And the cosmetology school, because she was bored.
Yeah,
Because she
I
was
was
bored.
bored.
And so in what span of time did this happen? And what was the emotional toll that all of that took on you, or how did you just kind of wrap yourself around completing all this? Because that's a lot, Sue.
I would say I come from like very good parents where they give like a foundation and stuff. My father was also in construction. He was a brick mason. And I think it was like Local 1 or whatever the brick mason union was back in the day. And I remember him would work 5 days a week, and then on the weekend he would do side jobs.
Wow.
So it was like, okay, just watching how he would just go to work and do those side jobs and stuff. I'm like, okay, he's always on this hustle in a sense. And then my mother was a computer programmer, so it was like, you know, so it's like, it's everything. I say God is good because he always connects all the dots and he puts you where you needs to be. So with that being said, just parents and just knowing that you can't stop, because once you stop, you get complacent and you won't be able to kind of start again. It's like riding a bike. Like as soon as you stop pedaling, like you're gonna fall. So it's just like, okay, you know, as you hit the walls, because again, as women in business, especially when you have nobody guiding you, you will hit walls, and when you hit those walls, you have to go, okay, I'm gonna go over the wall, or I'm going to dig a tunnel, go under the wall, I'm gonna go around the wall. So you have to find a way to get around that barrier that you hit.
But it was all about your foundation.
So let me ask you, so since you are a co-owner and you do have a partnership, how is that working out for you? So like Fila and I will probably taking mental notes. This is our first, I guess, one of our first partnerships that we're doing. We are solo entrepreneurs, and we came together. We've been friends for years. We came together and said, you know what, this is something that we should do, and we're novices in partnerships.
This whole partnership thing.
Yeah, well, I commend you guys.
But it is working out though.
Yeah.
But since we're beginning, like what notes should we take from you? What gems can you give
Well,
us?
I commend both of you because you guys are doing an awesome job.
Thank
and also
you.
even having this platform to come and sit with you guys and have a conversation with you, and also being able to find other strong black women that you can have like a sisterhood and say, look, you know, it's not about competing with one another. It's about helping one another and building each other up.
Right.
And saying, okay, what do you need? Because again, when you hit that wall, you know, you have to find a way around. So going back to your question, I would say definitely just listen to one another, because there's times when you're going to be like sisters and family and everything else where you may have one way of dealing with things and, you know, you may have another way of dealing with things. But as long as you're sitting there and you're able to communicate with each other, even though if you agree to disagree, and if you get into an argument is just a disagreement. You know what I mean? It's just a discussion, a heated discussion sometimes. But you have to understand at the end of the day, you're just looking out for one another's best interests.
Right.
You know, so that's just how I look at it. I mean, Verlin and I, we go at it. You know, I met him, I want to say like 13 years ago. He's found me on Zillow. Like when he was looking for his house, he was like, oh, I'm looking for a house, you know, and stuff like that. Young, wet behind the ears. And I was like, okay, where you looking at? Brooklyn. Because he was from Brooklyn. I was like, Brooklyn, like, go to Queens, go to Queens. I'm from Queens. Exactly, I'm from Queens, went to Jackson, you know, the whole 9 yards. So my thing is, come to Queens, you get more for your money. So what he did was he's like, okay, and he put his trust in me, you know, and like we've been friends ever since. I've known him from like when he was on help desk days back in IT, because that's his field, is IT. So he went to school for computer engineering, and then did help desk and worked his way up. And now he's like, you know, Sue, I'm thinking about doing this, you know, IT business. I need somebody, I need a partner, and I don't trust anybody but you. So that's just like coming full circle where I always say, like, even
That's how we got started.
right, you see, like I always look at it, even like we're doing real estate and stuff like that. How I used to run with that was, when you meet a client and you're going out with a client, let's say every weekend or every day, you get to know the whole family and stuff.
Yeah.
So like I say, my real estate clients become my friends. So, and then we just keep going and keep going and keep going, because it's, with me, I can't turn that switch off.
Right.
So it's
You
all
know?
relationship building.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And it's interesting that you say that, because I think what people don't understand is that in every business, it's about relationship building first, right?
Most definitely.
So with that in mind, I'm the life coach of the group. So I'm always, you know, wondering, how do you feel and how is this impacting you? how has being such an empowered woman, right, being in industries that are male dominated, that can be intimidating to men, how has that impacted your relationships with your children, your relationships with your partner, with your spouse? How has that impacted you in that space?
I would say you have to really get to know yourself. And I'm like, I won't say I'm a control freak, but you always have a certain way of doing things.
Right.
So if there's like a smarter way of doing it, I'm going to sit there and map it out in my head first and be like, okay, no, we need to move this way because the plane is about to fall on us, and you know what I mean? So I'm going to map it out.
Has that caused problems in your relationships, or you found a middle ground?
I would say it depends what it is. If it's fixing stuff like around the house and doing things like that, it's like, you know, fixing stuff around the house and doing all that stuff. But then sometimes as a woman, like you see other women, you're like, you know, they don't act like me in a sense. Because, you know, if I have to carry some ladders, I'm carrying ladders. If the lights go out, I'm rewiring stuff and things of that nature.
That's
So
what you're used to.
exactly. So that's just my commonplace, but it's not like I'm trying to overtake the male's role. It's just, you know, let's do this together. You know, rather than me just sit down and just say, okay, no, honey,
in
do it.
construction, so that's how you grew up.
That's exactly,
It's part of your foundation.
On Saturdays, he used to have us on those job sites with us carrying bricks. So it was like, okay, we carry a brick, we get like $10. So it's like, okay, this works.
This
you
is
know?
sacred. This is sacred kill.
Yeah, right?
I'm in my real estate. All I heard was broker's license, and I'm like, listen, you need to tap in on Sundays.
No, I got
Come
you all
on
day
in,
long,
right?
all day long. And like I said, even with the real estate and stuff like that, it's hard to have somebody that's going to protect your back. Like,
it is.
because I remember when I got in, and the first place I went to, because you have to kind of train under another broker, was Caldwell Banker. And, you know, again, I live on Long Island, so it wasn't a lot of us out there. And then when you try to learn different things, it was like they're not trying to teach you anything, you know. And then when
No
you
access.
exactly. Then when you see one of us, then it's a situation.
It's more competition.
It's like, oh, she gonna steal my clients. I can't deal with her. When it's no, like we're a family. Like let's get this together. Let me help you. You help me, and let's do this thing together. Where you know I'm not trying to take anything from you. But a lot of people don't understand that.
No,
See,
completely.
and we don't do that at Diamond Mine Real Estate.
Right? And that's why we created this platform.
Yeah.
Being two empowered, strong, successful women coming from totally different industries, but recognizing that there are some commonalities, and also understanding that there are so many other women like us who need a space to come, a safe space, right?
Yeah.
Because something that you talked about really resonates with me. The fact that if there's things that need to be done, you're gonna do it, because that's where you come from. And a lot of my clientele or client base are really strong, empowered women who find that they're challenged when it comes to the relationship space because they're so used to doing for themselves and on their own, right? So do you have times where you are intentional about letting the help and letting the support in, or do you still struggle with that?
I would say, again, it's knowing your role. And again, like in any relationship, a man is supposed to cover you. So a woman
Talk about it.
Yeah, so again, you have to kind of know your role. So sometimes, you know, you have to have that mental kind of talk with yourself all the time. And like I said, I'm a good strategist. Where like if we need to strategize, I'm going to strategize, and then I also have to check myself.
Yes.
Because if I'm not doing something right or I'm making somebody feel a certain way, I have to have that conversation. So, you know, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Do I have everything like worked out? No. This is like my second marriage, like the whole 9 yards and everything else, where you know, you get married at a young age because your father told you have to get married. You have a kid, get married, you know. But again, I would say I wouldn't change anything that's happened in my life because it's made me into the person that I am. You know, so if you kind of, like a lot of people will say, oh, I want to do over, I want to do over. If you do a do-over, then you're not going to be the same person that you are. Your scars are not going to be there. You know, you may not have the same kids that you have. You may not have the wisdom that you have. So you have to kind of keep everything that it is the way it is and just deal with it and kind of like pivot from there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of my questions, because I don't share emotions, so
No, I don't either.
Even when she's
trust
emotional, she's like,
Yeah, I don't even realize I'm
listen,
emotional.
you know, I don't do this right? But I'm letting you in.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna turn it back a little bit.
Let's get back to business.
Got you.
So one of the questions that I have, so being in IT, right?
Yes.
What softwares are more popular? So I'm in the real estate field. She's a life coach. What are some of the popular softwares? I know that Fila was having an issue, and the first thing I said was, "You gotta call my girl Sue."
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm just.
You didn't call me though. Go ahead.
Not yet.
Okay.
But so these are my questions. How do I propel my business? I know that I need certain things in order to do that, and I've called you, every so often. And of course, I want the best product, but the cheaper product.
Bargain Betty. We got to do that all day long.
Exactly. So what are some IT gems that you can drop for people who are just starting their business, in the middle of their business, and at the end of their business, or as Philo would like to say it, they are dreaming it, catching it, or at the hustling stage. So what are some of the gems that
I would say definitely anything Microsoft is like really good. If you're building a business or you're starting to build a business, again with COVID, you understand like a lot of businesses that had their stuff on premises. If it was their servers and things of that nature, and you had to go into the office every single day, COVID stopped all that.
Yeah.
So then a lot of businesses started to go out of business because they couldn't access the things that were in their office. So I would say if you're a new business coming on board, or even an older business coming, or just trying to find your footing, put everything or start doing things in the cloud, because the cloud follows you. Even with phones, if you have a hardwired phone in your office and that's your only phone where people are calling you, but we're in COVID and you can't go to the office, again, a VoIP system with the phones, a voice over IP, where you're able to get your phones wherever you are. You could be on the beach, like in Jamaica, or something like that.
Where somebody just came back from.
Exactly. And you can still do your business. So I would say you have to look to how we're going, or where we're going. We're going in the cloud. We're probably going to be working remotely.
Yes.
It's not going to be a thing where we're going to be in the office that much. I mean, you can say, because you're in real estate,
right,
where there are a lot of commercial properties that, or you drive around, all you see is for rent. So I would say definitely, being mobile will probably be the best thing.
And I utilize the phone service. So the way that they set me up is my particular phone, I can unplug it, and let's say I change my desk, or one of my employees, instead of them sitting at the front, now they're sitting at the back. They can take the phone and just move it. I remember when I was doing IT, you couldn't do that. You have to go in the back, you had to crimp, you had to do this, you had to do that. And now, even if, let's say I'm home for a week, I can unplug my phone in my office, plug it up in my house, and it'll still ring my business number.
Or she can have it on her cell phone, or she can have it on her computer, and still get her phone calls and things of that nature, and still do her business and not have to worry about any downtime.
So I'm gonna be honest with you guys, right? Part of this is like Charlie Brown to me.
I know,
right? And I am a lifestyle entrepreneur.
Okay.
So my business is primarily online and it's digital. So all this
Zoom
VoIP,
calls and all
we
that
do
stuff.
Zoom calls, we have CRMs
Right.
and all those things. So for those of us who are online digital entrepreneurs, translate what you just said.
that was even technical, like Verlin. Verlin
No.
be going in geek, like full on geek. I'd be like,
And not
Yeah.
super technical, but I think that we have a lot of people who are starting businesses in this digital age,
Okay.
in this work from home society that we're living in now. And so I want you to just tell us maybe like a few of the systems that you think are best to implement for digital entrepreneurs that we may not think of, right? Things that we need to have, because it's important to have like a landline
Right.
in your home and in your business, and it's not something we think of now. So what are some of the traditional technical systems that digital entrepreneurs should
And
have?
wait, before you answer that, can you give us two? Give us one for sole proprietors, where it's just one person, and then someone also like myself who has a team, because we are trying to help everyone become the best that they can be.
I would say a lot of the systems are, if you're one, or you have like one employee to up to 10 or 1,000 employees. Again, even with NuSo, which is the phone system that you currently use and stuff, that they use it in New York City with 311.
Okay.
So NuSo is more so like a Verizon. So let's say if you have Verizon in your house where you need a telephone to answer, to speak to your clients and things of that nature, again, NuSo does the same thing. But NuSo also gives you text messages where you can send your clients text messages. You can use it from your phone.
So for like text marketing?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So you can use it from your phone, you can use it from your computer, or you can have the handheld phone in the office if you like that as well. And that travels with you.
Gotcha.
As far as...
So it offers stability, but it also offers the flexibility.
Exactly, exactly. And then as far as like if you're doing like Zoom calls and stuff like that, or Teams, or that's a lot of the Microsoft programs where you can kind of do SharePoints where you share data with other team members in your office where you need to kind of download like different documents and things of that nature.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and schedule my consultation and call so that I can get all this information, right? Because I'm just so impressed. I'm not techie, and Nadirah's in IT, and she's very strategic, but I'm the creative, and I'm the feeler. So I just love when Black women come in and are like in their position of power in these industries that are generally white, male dominated.
Yeah, exactly. So tell us where we can find you. How do people get your services?
Sure. You can reach me at teamlogicit.com/Valley Streams, New York, or you can reach us at the phone number. You can reach us at the phone number, which is much better, 516-274-4446.
So there's a segment that we do called Give Me Some Game, right?
Okay.
Where we want you to give our audience and us, because I'm over here listening, your top 3 tips.
Okay.
Based in IT, based on your entrepreneurial journey, or whatever it is that you feel is the most poignant information that you can give. So give us your top 3 tips for women who are in male-dominated industries, women who are in IT, or women who are transitioning from one industry to another the way that you've done.
That's a good one. I would say, well, the first key is not one that I had. I would say find a mentor. If you're able to find a mentor, that would be like an awesome thing. And people can call you guys because you guys are like great mentors. I go over to see it. I would say find a mentor that's either in your field or somebody that can kind of hold your hand just in business in general.
Yeah.
Because even if they're not in your field, they can definitely assist you or point you in the right directions or kind of pull your coat back if you're going too far. I will also say do what you love. Because when you do what you love, it's not like you're working.
Yes.
And
So true.
you'll love waking up every single day going to work rather than when you're doing a 9 to 5 like a lot of us, a lot of us came from. You don't hate it getting up in the morning. And I would say the third thing is just to stay true to yourself. Just to really stay true to yourself and just have conversations with yourself and just help one another. That's it,
I love that advice.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for those gems, but I do have another question for you. Name one Black woman, also an entrepreneur, who you would like to showcase, who you would like to get the spotlight.
Oh my gosh, there's so many. Then they're gonna beat me up if I don't say their names.
We'll have to bring you back to introduce the others.
Exactly. I would say Stacy. She has Guiding Hands Childcare. It's in Queens. We gotta stay true to our Queens roots.
Absolutely.
Get the money.
Yeah, so I would say Stacy. Alanine. Yeah. Stacy, she's with Guiding Hands.
It's been such a pleasure, Sue, having you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being open, and thank you for being strong enough to take on the role that you've taken on, because you being in the position that you're in, whether you know it or not, is inspiring other women. So thanks for coming and sharing. We appreciate you so much.
Yes, and thank you so much for coming. Sue came.
And for getting your phone lines together, right?
No, let me tell you. And Sue also came bearing gifts. She gave us such beautiful dream catches.
Yes, she did.
Got a catch?
Yes.
We appreciate that. Listen, gifts is one of my love languages, so we friends now.
That's a beautiful thing. I thank you guys for just having me, and also, like I said, having this platform for other, Black women out here. You guys are doing amazing. And what you're doing with your business especially is amazing, even with the whole NACA program and stuff like that, because I have a friend whose girlfriend bought a house through your company, and it was
really?
funny.
Look at
Like in the
that.
beginning they asked me about NACA. I was like, NACA, because back in the day it used to get a bad rap.
Yes.
But you are the queen of NACA.
Thank you.
And it's funny because even when you know, you called us to come and do your IT. Normally, I Google and see like what's going on with, you know, your website, your company, and stuff like that. And that's when I saw her video, and I was like, you know, full circle.
Like,
God is good all the time.
Always,
you know,
always.
You know, He brings it full circle. So continued success to both of you, and
Likewise.
thank you for everything that you do.
Yes.
Likewise. Thank you so much,
Thank
Sue. It's
you.
been a pleasure.
Thank you.
So that ends today's episode of Dream Catch Hustle. Technically speaking, with Sue Chen, Team Logic IT. So just remember, Dream Catch Hustle is not just a catchphrase, it's also a lifestyle. First you dream it, you catch it, and then you hustle it.
Amen.
See you guys next time.
See you later.
Thank you.